In this video, we're going to talk about conditioning for football from the youth level through the high school level. I'm going to break some common myths and misconceptions that people have when it comes to conditioning. So stick around. My name's Jacob Cavazzuto. I've trained over 300 youth football players and I work with them on their speed and agility. And so conditioning clashes with speed and agility sometimes, but it also plays hand in hand with it. And in this video, I'll teach you guys what I do to help the youth athletes and the high school athletes that I train be more conditioned and faster for their sport. But if you guys want to become better football players and better athletes, hit that subscribe button so you guys don't miss any more of my videos throughout this year. Let's get better today. Step number one when figuring out how to do conditioning for football is you got to remember the demands of football. Football plays are really 5 to 8 seconds of short explosions. And so if we're running gassers or suicides, we're really not preparing ourselves for the demands of football. So 20 seconds or more of running back and forth down the field are not going to make your players faster. And I want to make your players faster and be conditioned for the game. So if we can condition ourselves to do those short, quick bursts of power rather than doing long, crazy long sprints, I think you're going to really get a lot more benefit and your players will be faster and they'll be able to run faster longer. So this next little part will be specifically for youth coaches, parents, and players. But if you want to condition yourself for youth football, I think gassers and suicides can be implemented into your program, but a lot less often than they are right now. I think every single practice I see with these youth tackle teams, coaches are doing suicides and gassers and long 100+ yard sprints, and they could be doing that a lot less and focusing on the power aspect of football because power does reign supreme when it comes to football at all levels. So for you coaches and parents and players that participate in youth football, I would highly suggest subtracting some of those suicide days and some gasser days with some short 20 to 40 yard sprint days where they're racing one another and they're competing and trying to run at a high speed. If we can get these younger kids running high speeds more often, you're going to see a lot more speed development at a younger age rather than breaking these kids down. And this causes a little bit more injury risk when you break them down and run them a lot more and they're not ready for that explosive in-game situation. Now I'm going to talk about football players 12 and up. And this is where we get a little bit more specific and a little bit more power focused. So I was saying that maybe you can use suicides and gassers with the younger group of football players, but with this group, I'm going to totally eliminate them. Eliminate the 110s, eliminate the gassers, and eliminate the suicides, and purely focus on 10 to 30 yard sprint bursts. You could even do 5 yard sprint bursts. This is where kids can be pulling sleds. This is where kids can be doing broad jumps. And this is where you can really start implementing short explosive bursts. Kids 12 and up are really going to respond a lot better to those shorter sprints, and they're going to really help their development as they approach high school. And for you high school coaches, I'm sure you guys already have your systems and your programs for conditioning, but I really want to stick away from those longer sprints because you really want to set your team apart from a speed perspective. So that's where you really just got to turn away from those longer sprints, go into those shorter sprints a lot more, and focus on power. So just a quick summary of what I went over with youth football players. You can still do gassers and suicides, but not every single practice. Work on those short bursts and work on those powerful energy systems for your younger athletes. And then as you get 12 and older and approaching high school, work on that power aspect, shorter sprints, 10 to 30 yards. And then in high school with your systems, tone down the longer sprints, tone down the excessive conditioning, and focus on being a faster football team. So if this video helped you guys kind of approach the conditioning aspect of football a little bit differently, hit that subscribe button and hit that like button if it gave you value, and stay tuned for the next video. Let's get better today.